Hey Hilti fans, and welcome to the latest episode of Hilti Live. My name is Ben and I'm part of our Hilti social media team, and today I'm with Cara, our structural engineering trade manager here at Hilti. In our last episode of Hilti Live, we talked about our entire portfolio of chemical anchors, and we mentioned towards the end one of the newest things in our portfolio, which is Hilti's FP700R. So, Cara, welcome to Hilti Live. Tell me a little bit about FP700R.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So Hilti's FP700R is the first inorganic cementitious chemical adhesive on the market. It is also the newest addition to Hilti's chemical anchoring portfolio, and it offers a unique solution for fire resistance and fire ratings for built structures.
So fire resistance, why is that an important topic for chemical anchoring?
Oh, that is a great question. So how the model building codes exist, engineers, architects, contractors all work to provide fire resistant built structures. And this is because we want, and everybody wants, people, if there is the fire in a building, to safely egress and to have the time to safely egress, and also for firefighters to safely rescue anyone who needs rescuing.
So then what makes FP700R unique or special compared to other products or other methods that already exist out there that address this topic?
Oh, that is a great question. So there are currently some methods to help address fire resistant in post-installed rebar concrete to concrete connections. So engineers work to try and provide fire resistance. They do this with cast-in anchors, and it has to do in their design with geometry and concrete cover of their existing cast-in rebar. So they work in that for reinforced concrete. Now, for post-installed solutions, they've actually been quite limited in what they can do to provide fire resistance. And so oftentimes they've had to ask contractors to maybe demo out an existing wall up to a certain point so that they can mechanically splice rebar. Okay. This can have a lot of impact because it's expensive. You know, you have to get a big breaker. Not that breakers aren't fun. Or they have the alternative to try grouts. Now, grouts often aren't fire tested, but this is what they believe is a great alternative for a post-installed rebar connection in comparison to what's available on the market today.
Okay, and I heard you use this term earlier, inorganic cementitious mortar. What does that exactly mean?
Oh, that is also a great question. So currently what is available on the market worldwide is organic cement or organic mortar. So that's what we're most familiar with and what a lot of people are familiar with. And what's important to understand is organic just means that there's either acrylics or polymers or epoxies in the chemical makeup of the product. And while those components are great because they're very sticky, they offer high bond capacity, whenever heat is applied, this can cause a drop in that bond capacity. And so Hilti's FP700R is inorganic. And so the components are very similar to cement, which means they have a high resistance against fire. And this is especially important for post-installed rebar connections in like a beam to column connection or in a slab to slab connection overhead. And so whenever heat is applied, the connection stays safe.
Excellent, that makes sense. So let's walk around here a little bit and talk about then the difference in terms of installation when it comes to FP700R versus maybe a more traditional grout application.
Yep. So when we think about a grout and installation and essentially the components of grout, whenever you post-install rebar using a grout solution, so you have a bucket like this, there's a grout mixture inside, which is all of the admixtures, and then you put in water. You have to mix it all together until it's a really nice sludge, and then oftentimes a contractor will have to drill a hole that's larger than the diameter of the rebar that they are installing, oftentimes quite larger, so there's a huge annular space, and they work to fill the hole. So this can be just pouring straight in. This can be challenging for them because engineers would like their rebars to be straight most of the time. But this is one thing that is available existing. This can be a difficult installation method. I'm sure you can assume for a horizontal connection, or if you are trying to install overhead, since this is more of a sludge. So now let's look at FP700 in comparison. So FP700 works with Hilti's existing SafeSet system. So it's a dual component foil cartridge that fits into our existing, or into our portfolio for our dispenser, so our Neuron dispenser. And similarly to our organic portfolio, you have a similar drilling method. So you drill maybe a slight annular space, but you fill the hole in the same way that you would our organic adhesives. Here you can see your rebar stays straight, well, as straight as you drill. But it's a very straightforward system in comparison, and very similarly to our SafeSet system.
That makes sense. So, all right, let me try to summarize here then. So FP700R, really an industry first when it comes to inorganic cementitious mortars that are appropriate for fire-rated structural connections. And then what we just talked about, clearly a lot of benefits when it comes to installation. A much smaller hole that has to be drilled, a lot less waste of product being used, a lot less messy than something like a grout. And then, it's just one more adhesive that fits with the entire Hilti portfolio of SafeSet with our dispensers, hollow drill bits, vacuums, and things like that.
Exactly. And to add on top of that, FP700, as we've talked about fire resistance and designing it, contractors oftentimes install it, but engineers design it. And we have a new fire button in our also new concrete to concrete module and Profis engineering software suite.
Cool. So we have customers covered from the design side to the installation side.
Exactly. We're trying to simplify it on both sides.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you all for watching. And if you have any comments, questions, or feedback as it relates to FP700R or anything regarding Hilti chemical anchors, please leave them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you and answer your questions, and we'll get to those as soon as we can. And thanks for watching.